God's way.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I know we're starting late today for my live individuals that are online and here in person, and I get some things figured out. But welcome to Factory Resets, where we talk about dating the way God intended and making sure that we do it the way He wants us to do. All right.
And happy Valentine's Day, y'all.
Oh yeah, it is Valentine's Day.
So
Happy
it's perfect.
Valentine's Day. Most definitely, we should have had the team decorating here. We definitely did that.
Where are the balloons?
All right, so before we start, like we always do, we're going to pray, and then we'll get into things. My love, your lovely hand. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us here this afternoon, the Lord, for the individuals that are here in person, the individuals that are here online. We ask you to bless the ears that are listening here today and wherever they are listening, the Lord. We ask you to bless their ears, the Lord. We ask you to bless our mouths and our tongues, the Lord. Give us the words, the wisdom that you need us to speak into these individuals, the Lord, and help them become the perfect husband and the perfect wife that you need them to be. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And like I always say with every episode, anything we say today, please pray about it. Please fact check us. Definitely when we use any scripture, just to make sure that it resonates with your spirit and the things that God has called for you, okay? So let's get into it. Today we are talking about communication and emotional intelligence, right?
Yes.
So the thing is that you can't have a covenant marriage with kindergarten communication.
Nope.
You can't.
You cannot.
And just to talk about that, right, that brings me into a show my wife has me started, right? The show is Love is Blind.
Yes.
I'm watching season 10, y'all.
First time watching it.
First time ever watching it. So I'm watching season 10, y'all. And communication in that, because they start off with just talking, communication is most definitely, you start to see how much communication is important.
It's important,
And that will make or break the dating phase already, right? And I was also telling her I like the way it's set up because in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of how God intends us to date. It's a space where you're supposed to ask a bunch of questions. You're supposed to get to know, like we talked in all the other episodes. This is a part where you can build your boundaries, put your boundaries out there, and they have it set up to a space where you can't stumble. And I think it's
Fall
perfect.
into sin, yeah.
You know, because at this point, I'm not getting distracted by your curves. I get distracted by your muscles that make me want to touch you, that make me want to fill up on you, or and then put you in a space where you may mess up. But biggest thing about Love is Blind I want to talk about is Emma. Okay. Emma's biggest thing was that she wanted individuals to be vulnerable with her. She wanted individuals to open up with her, and I feel like her communication skills in that wasn't the best. And the way you communicate during your dating phase is more than likely how you're going to communicate during your marriage.
Yep.
And if it's not good during dating, it's not going to be good during your marriage, right? And you need to think about things like that, right? This is why I always tell, even you. If it's an argument, it's because someone has failed in their communication, right? Once one person feels like it's an argument, we call it an argument at that point, right? So if you always feel like you get in an argument with your spouse, let's go ahead and think about you might be doing something wrong, right? Either you or them, okay? But that's the time.
In the communication.
Right, in the communication phase. And I feel like communication is one of the easiest things to do, but the hardest thing to understand. So that brings me to a big question, right? A very controversial question.
Okay.
The controversial question is, who are better communicators, men or women, right? So this is my thoughts on it, okay? Because the biggest thing, women, for example, we have more women that that act out on their emotions, right? They do the screaming, the yelling, the throwing, and the fits, the crying or whatnot, right? And you would hear a lot of women say that they are more emotionally intelligent than men are, right? But I think that women are more in tune with their emotions than men are.
Okay.
Right?
I can agree.
And that's why they have all these tantrums and things of that nature, right? But I wouldn't say they're more emotionally intelligent because they don't handle their emotions well. So the question is, what is emotional intelligence? But before we get into that, who you think has the most intelligent, men or women?
I don't think either one, to be honest. Because
Okay.
I feel like to be emotionally intelligent, you have to be able to do both sides well.
Yeah.
You have to be able to communicate your emotions well. You also have to be able to control your emotions well in a situation where you might want to act out. And I feel like women are in tune, but we struggle on the side of not letting our emotions lead.
Yeah.
And I feel like men might be more in control of their emotions, but because you all don't know how to necessarily emote, you all don't connect well. And I feel like to be emotionally intelligent, you need both.
Both sides.
And so right now, nobody's winning.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. And then, and that brings us to individuals where I feel like when you meet someone that is emotionally intelligent, that's when you find out about this whole thing of, oh, this person don't play. This person running a strict schedule.
They run a strict program.
Strict program.
They run a strict program.
And that makes you have to really start thinking to yourself, like, am I really emotionally intelligent? Because
and you realize people start to shut down a lot too.
people start to shut down, which was Emma. I feel like Emma was doing in Love Is Blind when she said she wanted to go deep. And I forgot the guy she was talking to. I want to say
Yeah, I don't remember.
Chris, Mike. No, it wasn't.
No,
I
I,
can't
don't
remember.
think
But
it was Mike.
But she was talking to one of the guys, and he was trying to ask him more about the adoption, the kids, or whatnot. And they got this point where, like he said, that, oh, you put a wall up on me. And that wall has now stopped the interaction with each other to connect at that point. And not being able to connect makes it harder for us to move forward and grow. Because the thing is, yeah, we may not finish the conversation, but it's always going to be there.
Right.
Regardless of it
Right.
not being solved, because we never came to a consensus in at that point. It became this thing of, I don't want to talk about it no more. I'm done with this. Go
Right,
about your
I'm done with
business.
the conversation, right.
Right. And now the other person has to dwell on their questions not being answered and all these other feelings. And then you wondering why they blowing up on you again 2-3 months later. It was never solved. And I feel like
Right.
that's one of those things that most definitely need to be solved. When it comes to communication, in the dating and or marriage phase, I feel like it's this thing where, like the Bible says, listen before you speak. And it's a lot more listening than anything else. For you and I, the Lord has given me a lot of wisdom, and watching my parents do marriage, and I feel like my dad does a very good job as far as let me see the good side of marriage, right? Which made me want to sought for it. And one of the things is, which I understood and makes sense, we also did it in one of our marriage classes at our church.
Yeah.
And it's this thing of, when someone comes to you with a problem, it's their floor. And we tend to do this thing of, oh, you're trying to attack me, I'm about to attack you too. And you can't see it as an attack, but more of, hey, I'm trying to better the relationship and better our connection. So regardless of how you may feel, it's not an attack. It's us against the problem. And a lot of people tend not to remember that when they start to date. So, for example, when we talk and you come to me about a problem, right? I have to remember that you may be saying that I didn't do this, and I'd be like, I did all this other stuff too. No. That's not my time or place to bring that up, right? Because you're bringing that. It's about you. You're the one with the problem. You have the balls to come up and say, hey, I got a problem. So because I didn't come up with it, I can't. It's not my time to do it. So I need to listen to you. And after listening to you, I get to this point where it's like, okay, take it, respond, execute. And it's kind of how you have to move with it. There's no rebuttal. It's all right, baby. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry for making you feel like that. I understand, or I don't understand. But if you need me to do this more, I can do that for you.
Right.
And that's how you fix it with the communication, and vice versa. Women had the harder time of doing that, right? Because y'all minds are like spaghetti; everything touch each other. So we pull one string, all the other strings start ringing, and y'all. But you remember 6 months ago? 6 months ago, you did da 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 da. I ain't talking about 6 months ago. I'm talking about right now. And women, I feel like it's a little harder for you all because you all, like you tell me sometimes, you don't like confrontation. You can't look at communication as being confrontation all the time. So what ends up happening is you all get in this space where I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna let it be. Then it happens again. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna let it be. Let's say something small as far as I'm leaving my socks on the floor, and you getting tired of seeing my socks on the floor. I leave it there. You don't say nothing. You just pick it up. You pick it up. Pick it up. 6 months go by. You are getting tired of seeing these socks on there, but you're gonna pick it up. And then one day, you know what? I'll bump it. I'm tired of down leaving my floor, and I come to you, but babe, are your clothes on the floor?
Right.
Why can you
But your socks be on the floor.
Your socks been on the floor for the last 6 months. Why you ain't say nothing? Don't try to say nothing now.
Yeah, that's funny. I do that.
So
It's harder to. What I'm finding is that you don't want to rock the boat for something that seems so small and insignificant, But I think when that small and insignificant thing keeps happening multiple times, we think we're doing y'all, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say we. I speak for myself. I think I'm doing a solid by not bringing it up because I'm like, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
And like, it's whatever. But then when you do bring up something that's in that same line of like error, it's like, oh, so we are complaining about clothes being left on the ground. And I haven't. So I'm going to just do that now.
Right.
And I'm realizing that even for us, for myself, is that when something is not right, I got to just say something. Whether I think it's big or small.
You have to. Because
the small things start to add up and it becomes big. And I feel like it's something that when we first met, actually, it was before we got married, you said something to me and you was like, I'm not a mind reader. And I felt like that was so good for me as a woman to hear because naturally as women, we're like, how do you not know if I say, like, if I'm in a car and I'm like, man, it's so cold in here. And that's all I say. Right. In my mind, I'm like, okay, so if I say I'm cold, that means you need to just turn the heat down. And you were like, but I'm not a mind reader though. And I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, but that's like common sense. But it's like, I'm realizing that to have good communication, it means to not be in a car and say, man, it's so cold in here. And then to just ask for what I want. Hey, do you mind turning on the heat? I'm a little cold.
Right.
And it's like, it takes like some unlearning and relearning in order to, I feel like for us as women to be better communicators and be okay with saying what we want. And I think we're so used to sometimes saying what we want and not getting it or it not being valued or it not being heard. Okay. That ultimately altogether we just stop like asking because we like, you know, women, we laugh all the time, but we'll be like, husband, can you take the trash out? And it's like, they don't move. Right. So it's like, why am I going to keep repeating myself? We like, I don't want to waste my breath. Right. So you kind of got to get past that and just keep communicating the same things over and over and realizing that even in communication, tone matters. And I think sometimes once we get frustrated, it turns into I'm sounding like your mom and not your wife or your partner.
Bookmark that one for sure.
Bookmark it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about it.
You know, let's back it up just a tad bit, right? You said that even when the communication thing happens, that you feel like you aren't being heard. The question is, right, while we're dating and while we're in a relationship, the question is, how do we make sure that both individuals are being heard when we end up in a space where it seems like one person doesn't? Most definitely when you have an individual that's more alpha dominated and the other individual is more timid.
Okay, what's the question? And also, I can't hear you, honey. You got to speak up a little bit.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, how do you make sure that everyone's being heard, right? Because it does become this thing where you have one individual that's more of an alpha, more of a dominant presence, and the other person is timid, right? And because they're timid, it becomes this thing of they say something, the other person like, oh, my voice is louder than you, and kind of drowns the other individual out.
Right. I think you do well. I think there's a lot of things you can do, but I think one of the good things that we do, which I feel like has helped me tremendously to be able to communicate better, is by having our check-ins. So you have this time on your calendar where you know this is the day where you can bring everything that happened for the week. Right. Some stuff you got to bring up immediately because you're like, I cannot wait. But if you can wait, set a time on your schedule, figure out this is going to be our time to communicate. I get the first 10 minutes. You cannot interrupt me. You get the next 10 minutes. I cannot interrupt you. And then from there, we can then start to kind of figure out, okay, what can we do to fix or better communicate or, you know, problem solve whatever the issues were for the week. Yeah. And I feel like having that for me was very helpful because as I am somebody who don't like confrontation, I already knew at least every Sunday at 12 o'clock, I could bring everything that happened to the table and I could just say all my stuff and let it just be out of me. Right. So I feel like that is what helped me. Maybe some other options too.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's good. Because I did that to the fact that nothing ever sits. Because like I was just saying before, that I leave a sock, you don't say nothing. I leave a sock. No, because you felt something. And no matter how minuscule it was, you felt something, and that matters. Like I always tell you, you're never tripping about how you're feeling, regardless on how stupid it may seem to another person. Yeah. You're never tripping on how you're feeling. You're tripping on how you're acting due to that feeling, right? So, for example, I was leaving the sock on the ground. You started cussing me out. All right, bro, you tripping. You could have just came over here and said, babe,
can you get your socks?
Right, and
Please.
that brings us to tone, which we were just talking about, right? Tone is the biggest thing when you're communicating, right? Because the way you say it, it's not what you say,
It's how you say it.
it's how you say it, and because of that, it could come off very, very wrong. So, one, you have to know your partner, because sometimes your partner may just have a voice that's very stern, right? And you could be like, oh, no, that's just him, y'all. Don't pay him no mind. He's just a very serious guy. But then also understanding the difference and how to speak to your partner, right? Because speaking to your partner is the biggest thing. Like I told you on one of the last episodes was, women, you all master manipulators.
I
Right?
hate that phrase. You gotta find a new
But
phrase.
I gotta find another phrase. I haven't found one yet, but that's what I'm using right now. You're all master manipulators, and in that, how you speak to your spouse matters more than anything to make sure things get done, right? Or to make sure that your voice gets heard, or the things you need to do. Okay, it's different when they come up to you and say, the trash been full for the past week. You ain't taking it out. I'm getting tired of telling you to take the trash. You know what? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take it out myself, and start doing the thing instead and say, hey, babe. Because you know me, right? Like I tell you all the time, or tell any other woman that I coach or talk to, is that you want to talk to your man's ego, right? Talk to your man's pain point. This is for men, okay? Speaking to men. So it becomes this thing of, because I'm very big on things being clean, it becomes, hey, babe. You gotta rub him. What part of the body you like to be rubbed? His knees, elbow, his back. Go ahead and rub it real quick. Say, and you hit him with that. Hey, babe. You are a person that loves things. You're a neat person. I love that about you. And you do such a good job keeping yourself clean, keeping the house clean. But at this particular moment, I know you've been busy and stressed, and things not being clean is starting to affect the house. And I know if the house is not clean, you get stressed out. And you have already told me that I'm a princess and you don't want me touching the trash can. And lately, the trash has not been taken out. And I need your help so I can help you be more at peace at home.
That's a lot of work.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, shorten up the way you want, but it becomes that part where I be like, you know what, baby, you're right.
Oh,
I am a clean
goodness.
individual that like the house clean. I have been stressed, and that may be why I was stressed, because the house looking hot, man. I ain't take that trash out. You know what? I got you. I'm gonna take that trash out.
Right.
And then it becomes another conversation. Like, all right, baby, I want to help you some more. Let's make a schedule on you taking out the trash to help you. To help
I
you
like
out.
schedules, y'all.
Okay. Do you like it better if I put a sign on the trash can to say that it's full? Would you want me to put a colored sticky note by the door? Well, whatever it may be. Now it becomes this thing of not you yelling at me no more, or you getting overly frustrated. Now it becomes this thing that you have made it known that you're in strife or whatever. But also letting me know that, hey, this is for you at the end of the day.
Right.
Makes me want to be like, all right, cool. Because at the end of the day, us as men, we are problem solvers. And what we want to do is provide, regardless of what it is. We want to take care of our woman. So coming to us like that, very soft tone, very loving, very, submissive, makes us be like, I got you. I'll do anything for you now. I mean, I love that voice.
Right. I think that's a good note for women on how to communicate to a man.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that, y'all. I am still working on that part. Because sometimes you just be a little like, all right, come on.
You get frustrated sometimes.
You get a little frustrated. So you really have to control that. And I think that goes to say that every couple's communication is going to look different.
Yeah.
And so it's important for you and your mate, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, y'all getting to know each other as a husband and wife, sit down and ask each other, how do you like to be communicated to? And I think
It's
if
a
I'm
test.
not, I was about to say,
Yeah.
I think there's a test similar to
The love
languages. And
Yeah.
it talks about like, what's your apology language? What's your this language? All of that, because the way that you might like to be communicated to might not be the way I like to be communicated to.
Right.
So I feel like that's something that's super important to note. And if y'all could figure out how to speak to each other in each other's communication styles, I feel like it would solve so many problems.
Right.
In marriage, in a relationship, because I don't know if it's the number one or the number two. I know money's one of those, but that's one of the biggest things for divorce rates. It's one of the highest things of why people get divorces.
Yeah.
So if you can get that solved in the dating phase, you winning.
Oh, you be solid. Hey, it's nothing better than for me as a man, meeting a woman that can communicate her feelings. Because like you said, like I told you, I'm not a mind reader. But me able to understand what you need, and then I can now fix it, and it becomes this thing of what you upset for. Why you slamming things? Why you giving me stink? Hey, I said, I'm gonna walk around like nothing, everything okay. Because as far as I know,
Everything's okay.
everything's okay.
Right.
you know, other than you acting like that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's real big, and like you said, communication can look any type of way. Like we know a couple that, you know, they instead of talking, they like put sticky notes all over the house, and they just catch a sticky note like, oh, I
Yeah.
put the rubber feet today and I ain't do it. Okay, bet let me put my sticky note on my pad. Now it's on
It's
my
on my
to-do
to-do list for today, right?
for today type situation, which may help work for you. So find that communication part for sure. The next thing I want to talk about is, I guess we can start leaning back into emotional intelligence, what that looks like, right? The Bible kind of talks about emotional intelligence. It doesn't use the word emotional intelligence, but it gives you examples of what that kind of looks like, right? So I did take some notes on that. And one of the things, so there are key aspects to emotional intelligence. One is safety, is self-awareness, right? 'Cause the Bible encourages us to examine our own hearts, right? And when it comes to self-awareness, what I think is the thing of, let's go back to Emma. Emma's biggest thing right now is she has a tree called adoption that's been planted, and that tree has ground roots and touched a bunch of other things that now have problems, where she feels like she's not accepted, or she feels like she's not loved, or feel like no one wants her. That all stems from
That
the
one
adoption.
root, yeah.
But you have to have self-awareness to say that, hey, I have an issue here, and I need to sit down and have it solved before I can't have someone love me when I don't love myself all the way.
Right,
And
right.
even, you know, even if she has a scar on her arm, because I feel like the guy that she was talking to at that time was feeling her, and I feel like she started sabotaging at that point, because she could tell that he started to like her, and then he started talking about kids, he started talking about sex, and then I feel like that gave her some flashbacks of things that she may have not wanted to see or think about, and it became this thing of, oh yeah, no, I mean, whatever, you're not gonna like it. I've never been wanted all my life, and
Right.
blah 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 blah. You would be self-aware to say, hey, I have scars here, I have issues here, and I have to fix that. Or it'd be something even less dramatic or less deep. It could be like, hey, babe, I know I'm bad with time. Like I'm just not a time management person. And because I know that by myself, I know that I need to do a little extra to make sure I get there on time, or let you know that, hey, babe, I need you to help me.
Right.
Instead of being in denial when you try to confront me about it. So that's what I want to say about self-awareness. You have anything?
Nope. I think those are good.
The next thing is self-regulation. The Bible talks about control your reactions, especially anger. We must be slow to anger, right? And I feel like anger is one of those things where it's the fastest thing to, like, it's almost like fire. Like one thing on fire, and then the whole house so happened to be on fire under seconds, and you'd be like, oh, I did like a piece of paper, and it dropped, and all of a sudden everything ignited. So we have to have that control, men especially, right? Men especially, because I feel like if there's only one motion that we will tap into, I feel like anger is one of those.
Is the one.
It's for men, right? That's one of the things where I feel like we tap in. If we get men that's overly aggressive, they become drunk, so they become overly abusive because they don't have an understanding of the emotion. You know, it's funny because a while back, a few years ago, I got my first spell of depression. And I could not figure out what it was because I never experienced it before. I never sat down and looked at what was going on in my life or what emotions I was feeling. So it was this thing where it was kind of overwhelming. And this is just me as a man. Women, I feel like I deal with this stuff all the time. But for me, it was something brand new, and I didn't know what to do. In this space where I didn't want to do nothing. I sat in my bed all day. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to go do nothing. And I had to figure out, one, what it was, because I couldn't figure out what it was. I like it, you know, because as us men, we suppress everything. For some reason, I was in a space where everything was just hitting me, and I had to really sit down and understand what was going on, and then have the self-control to keep it down when other things happen in my life, to make sure that I don't go off on a rant. So that's another one. The next one is empathy. All right. So Philippians 2:4, it talks about it encourages us to look into and look into others and have more interest in them as well. Right. And I say that because it becomes this thing where when we communicate, and say you're telling me something that I don't quite understand, right? For me, I feel like I won't trip on it. But I say, let me put myself in her shoes. And putting myself in your shoes, how many people have a different perspective and a different outlook on it, to be like, all right, I see where I went wrong. for me, I don't care my boys talk to me like that, but she's not a boy.
Right.
She a woman, and because of that, I need to speak to her different, or I need to do this different. Empathy, it will help you understand your partner a lot more, because we become some very selfish beings, and because I thought this, and this, and not taking the time to sit back and look at it. Okay, if I was this person that has gone through this, that has experienced this, would I have reacted or said the same thing that they just said?
The same thing, right.
And I feel like that's the biggest thing.
I think that's good.
Yeah. The next thing is social skills. All right. You need to have a gentle answer. Proverbs 15:1 talks about that. Okay. And gentle answer was that whole tone situation. It's not what you say.
But
It's
how you say it.
how you say it. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to that. Because like pretty much like we talked about already, your tone will make or break a communication. And if it's not good, it's bound to crumble. So that's why I would say the Bible says that emotional intelligence is, and that's what it all can consist of. So just to bring it, more into, I guess, a worldly realm, or have a better understanding as well. Emotional intelligence is this thing of being able to understand, call out what the emotion is, right? If you don't know what the emotion is, then you need to sit down and figure that out. Have the intelligence to be like, oh, this is my anger, this is my jealousy, this is me, being envious, this is me, and then understand how to control those feelings,
things, yeah.
right? And then the very last thing I'll say is how to communicate it, because you need to be able to do that. And the best way to be better at communicating and better at understanding your emotional intelligence is having relationships, friends, family, people that you talk to, people that you may date. That's your time to practice it.
Practice it, yeah.
Like you're like, it becomes this thing. You be at work and Samantha getting on your nerves, bro. She's like, yo, I need you to stop talking to me like that. You have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna communicate with Samantha. Hey, Samantha, I know that you was upset. The deadline was late, but hey, for next time, instead of coming to my cubicle or rah, or sending a smart email, just say, hey, what's going on? We can, in fact, we had that with our neighbor one time.
Right.
She calling security. I had to go over there, and be like, hey, I know you had some problems, but hey, come over to say, hey, your music too loud or your TV too loud. I'll gladly talk to you. Let's understand your schedule so we can make sure that we don't disturb you.
Right.
Stuff like that, because you don't want to have pent up anger, and then it blows up on someone else at the same time.
Right.
You have anything?
Nope.
So now what I want to do is open the floor to a live audience, people on TikTok, people that are sitting here as well, and ask the question. I have the TikTok up right now, so I can see you all ask any questions that y'all might have about communication or emotional intelligence when it comes to dating the way God has intended. One of the questions I want to ask is, audience, feel free to chime in. You can also answer, my love, is what triggers individuals the fastest in relationships? Is it disrespect? Is it tone? Or is it being ignored? Or is it something else entirely?
Disrespect,
Okay.
being ignored, and tone.
And tone.
This might sound crazy, but I feel like they all three go together.
Yeah.
Because in your tone, you disrespected me. And what was that third one?
Being ignored.
And you ignored me, which is why my tone became what it was. And in my tone, there's now disrespect. I feel like it's almost like 3 different levels of the same process of communication.
Yeah.
Because if you never ignored me, it would have never got disrespectful.
Right.
Or would have never got to a place where I had to... People change tone and disrespect people when they feel like they're not being heard. And when they feel like I keep repeating myself over and over. It's like your parents sometimes. They come to you all nice the first time, and then by the next thing you know, some people's parents be cussing at them. But like your parent is cussing at you because you didn't listen the first time they told you.
Right.
And I feel like the tone and the disrespect comes after multiple times of trying to communicate something that seems to be not working. And I feel like people say, well, I had to cuss because for some reason that's the only thing you can understand. And I feel like that's what it be.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes people can only hear things in the wrong way for them to react which
Is
in
that,
itself,
is that the case, or is it more of they're not communicating the way that they understand?
yeah, that too. It could probably be they're not communicating in the way they understand, which is why you have to figure out how your partner needs to be communicated
Right.
with. So that's what I think. But
Yeah. Any audience folks got anything? Any hands back there? Go ahead.
not back there.
I would say
Being ignored.
Being ignored.
Will be on stuff would be a top one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can see why being
Yeah.
ignored, right? And then at that point where even for you, I have to do that because I can get to a point where I'm like, I ain't trying to talk to you no more, right?
Why don't you
And
want to talk to me?
I have to learn to say, hey, babe, at this particular moment,
Yeah.
I don't think I want to speak about it no more. I'm noticing I'm getting to a level of upset that it's going to be counterproductive. So let's just stop it. And sometimes you don't want to stop it, but babe, we gonna need to stop it here because this is me trying to put the cap.
Right. Which I
on.
think actually works well because you don't like when I do this, but we as women do it. We repeat ourselves multiple times.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's like we do it though because I feel like when y'all respond, it's like, oh, you didn't get it because the response you just gave me is not what I was saying. So let me repeat it again. So I think that's what's happening, where it's like I'm saying something you may have not. I'm perceiving that you have not grasped it based on the response that you gave me back. So that means that, oh no, you didn't understand my question. So let me say it again. And you like, no, but I understand your question. And I'm like, but that's not what I'm asking though.
Right.
So that's when I feel like it gets frustrating for you sometimes because you're like, you already said that 4 times.
4 times.
And I'm like, yeah, but you haven't answered it yet. So when you do say, babe, I need a second, I feel like that's very helpful. Because if you don't say that, then I feel like I'm being ignored.
Okay.
And then at that point, I have an attitude.
Yeah.
And then I have to go get with the Lord because I know that's what you said, that self-awareness.
Yeah.
I know myself, and I am a person who shuts down and ignores terribly. Like, that is a spirit that I had to release off of me. And
Yeah.
so I have to be very conscious to not let that come back on me because I could go days without talking to people. I really could. And that is so bad.
Toxic.
It's toxic. But I don't do that anymore because I now recognize that I did that to people, and I had to get with the Lord and be like, this was before I met you, obviously, but like, I had to get with the Lord and say, okay, what type of things can I put in place to make sure I don't revert back to those things?
Yeah, that's good.
Which is why we do our weekly check-ins. And I
Right.
told you when I met you, I said, I need this because if I don't,
You're going to blow up.
I'm going to not talk to you. I don't know when I'm going to talk to you again, to be honest. I'd be living in the house with you and act like you don't even live.
I ain't
Oh,
having
that's so
I
bad.
ain't
Oh,
having
gosh,
that.
that's so bad.
That
If
ain't
anybody
bad.
else deal with that, it's so bad.
It's bad.
Just-
Please don't be like that, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't
And
be like
another thing, too, I will say, too, for people who have that, this is a side note, journal. Journaling helps to release that anger or that frustration or whatever it is you're feeling, to get it out of you. Then you don't have to say it to that person, and then you can come back to them because now it's been released, and that works. So, like, for me, I'll tell Caleb, I'm like, yeah, I can't, not right now. And I put my headphones on, and I listen to worship music for like 3 hours. And then I come back
Yes, you do.
in about 3 hours, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to talk now. Because you gotta simmer down.
No, you do. If you already know that you already upset before the conversation even start, you just stop. My dad used to do something which I now notice now that I'm an adult was when I was bad in school. I was bad. I was about 3rd grade. I was a menace. Okay, I think I got whooped like every day,
Oh, Jesus, you was getting a rod like that?
bro. Getting it, and I think I did something where he was upset. And he was like, I remember him coming to me, and he was like, I tried to talk to him. He said, "No, I'm upset with you, and you know why I'm upset with you. I'm gonna deal with you later because I'm too upset with you right now." And then he left. He came back. Explained to me why I'm getting my whooping, and I got popped.
But you know, that just brought something to me. This is like, we can get back to the questions after this, but that right there, it triggers down to your kids.
Yep.
Because when you're angry and you go to spank your kid, you, at that point, it's child abuse for some people, right? Because
Right.
you trying to make sure they remember, and even the Bible talks about making sure that you cool down first before you even go into that. And I think that's something that we can apply to a relationship too. Cool down first.
Yeah.
Because when you say something, you cannot take
Can
it
take it
back.
back. Regardless
And
if you didn't mean
things,
it or not.
they just not rotate, they replay in your head constantly, constantly, constantly. So you want to be so like just intentional before you have those conversations when you're upset.
Yeah.
So take a second. It's okay to take a second.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's okay. And partners, don't try to
Force them.
force it, because then you asking for it.
You asking to get popped at that point. You know.
Goodness.
At the end, and it becomes hard. You force it because you want to know.
You want to know so
You wanna know
bad,
so
but that's
bad.
impatience, and it's selfish because it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you right then. It's about the other person, and they
Yeah.
need a second.
Yeah, like for example, you mad at me the other day. And for the life of me, I was trying to figure out what the heck did I do. I'm talking
took 3
about,
hours,
I'm running through the whole synopsis of what I thought he was good or not to be good. I'm like, I just don't know what it was. I said, and I think another reason why people start to force it because it becomes this thing because you upset. Now I'm
I'm gonna
upset.
say right.
You know
I
what I'm
can't
saying?
even function. I can't
can't-
even do what I was trying to do
You know what
no
I'm saying?
more.
I can't even enjoy the rest of the day because you know you already upset.
Yeah,
In that house with headphones on, walking around.
I was, but I was worshiping the Lord. I was worshiping, and by the time I was finished, you were asleep.
I was knocked out. I said, "Hey, I'm going to bed at this point. I mean, got nothing better to do. My friend ain't talking to me."
Your friend, I'm sorry, honey. I needed a second though.
That's fine, baby.
Did we have any questions on the live?
Let me see what we got from
Because we got a little sidetrack, y'all. But that just goes to show, I feel like that's healthy communication. Sometimes healthy looks like taking a second to make sure that you don't say anything to hurt your partner's feelings.
Yeah.
Because you
And-
love them.
But I understand that during communication, I feel like another thing is that is good.
Hold on, sorry. Nobody had questions?
No
Okay.
questions. No questions right now. One of the biggest things I feel like when it comes to communication is sometimes you are going to or sometimes you're going to hurt the other person's feelings. And then for me, sometimes I have, I'm very blunt and very to the point, right? So I know sometimes I can say things very harsh. So I have to tell you, say, hey, don't take this the wrong way. I don't know a better way to say it right now. So I'm just going to say it. And you can tell me a better way to say it later. But I'm just going to say it. And you sometimes you got to put that disclaimer in there because it will soften the blow when they get hit with it. Because if you just hit them with it, like, oh, whoa, so that's how you feel?
It's like you can prepare yourself for it.
Right, you compare yourself for like, okay, he about to say something.
And I'm probably going to be hurt.
Be hurt.
Or my feelings will
But-
be a little bit hurt. You be like, ooh.
Right. And in that hurt, don't be closed off and don't want to hear what they got to say anymore. You still got to be open enough to be like, okay, this person's hurt. Let me fix it.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing when it comes to that whole communication and emotional intelligence. I feel like I had another question. I'm trying to remember what it was, though. And I feel like it was, disrespect, right? Let's talk about that just for a little bit. Everyone's version of disrespect is completely different, right? And that's something else that you need to have a conversation with. Understand. I feel like when we're doing that talking phase or even the dating phase when we ask a bunch of questions, people forget to ask the things that I guess matter, but aren't very what's the thing? Very obvious, right? Like if we was cooking something, we got a pizza, for example. We got the dough, the sauce, the cheese, and whatever protein.
Meat, right.
People forget about the Italian that goes in the sauce. People forget about the oregano that go in there. These are
I
small,
always forget
minuscule
about
things that
those
make the
things.
pizza a good pizza, right? Or even putting certain things in the dough, things like that. These are things that we forget. And I feel like one of the things that you need to ask, one, how do you want to be communicated with when you're upset, right? There's also an anger test that you can do, right? And having that understanding, also understand how you want to be spoken to, right? Because I can be harsh and up to it, and you may be like, hey, baby, I need you to put baby on the end of every sentence so I don't feel like you're attacking me, whatever that may be. And then understanding what gets your person hot and stay away from that is the biggest thing. And I feel like women do a good job is hitting a man's pain point, but they hit you.
They
why
know
your,
where it
that's why
hurts.
your headline ain't straight. No, dang on. I've been trying hard to keep this headline crisp.
That's just because it's coming from a place of hurt. And
Right.
when people hurt you, I think naturally you want to hurt them back. We shouldn't be like that, but I think as humans, that's sometimes what can happen. So you just have to be just very conscious,
Yeah.
very intentional, which is why you should take that second before you say something that you might regret.
Yeah. So I want to leave us with this right here, right? And I feel like a lot of you all should take notes on it. Most definitely, it will help you communicate better with anyone. Let's just put it that way. We've done it when we done our marriage in a marriage class at church, right? And I don't quite remember what they called it, but pretty much what you do is whoever is the one with the problem that's speaking, you let them talk, right? Listen. Once they finish, you repeat exactly what they said. Okay, you want to be as exact as possible. I'm talking about down to the yeah child. I'm talking about from the ad libs to the tones to whatever they have. Try to make it as close as possible. So they can't say that I ain't say that. Right. So repeat that to them, and then what you do is you say what you heard. This is what you said. This is what I heard. Because what ends up happening is become this thing of I can come talk to you and say something like, hey babe, you know, you haven't been doing your makeup, you haven't been doing your eyebrows, your hair. It's been a while, whatever, right?
And
what you heard was you saying I ain't cute.
right.
You saying that you're not attracted to me no more.
Right.
You saying that I look ugly and busted. And I did not say that. Right. So then that gives the other individual to rearrange their words to help you understand it better. To say, no, baby, that's not what I said, or that's not what I meant.
Right.
When I said that. So let me rephrase it then. Let me say da 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 da. That makes it better with the communication part, and that way you all don't have any mishaps or misunderstandings or I'm in my feelings now after this conversation. I don't want to talk to him no more.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Want to do an example?
We can do an example. Let's do
And
it.
then that's how we'll end today.
Do it. You start.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yesterday you made some pizza and the pizza was nasty. And next time you make it, I need you to do a little bit better.
Okay. What you said was, I made some pizza yesterday and it was nasty. And next time I make some pizza, I need to make it better. What I heard was, stop cooking in your kitchen, and I shouldn't be cooking for you or me anymore.
No. Next time, maybe find a recipe and follow the recipe, and then we can see where we can kind of tweak it to make your pizza a little bit better. But I still want you to cook.
Okay. All right. That's better. All right. That lets me know that she want to cook with me.
Because he was about to tap out and never
I'll be
cook
like,
again.
Oh, I ain't cooking no more then. Don't worry about it. Make your own pizza now.
Yeah.
So that's
He
pretty
actually
much.
cooks really well. I'm the one that's needs the work. But, that's it.
Well, we appreciate you all like always. We do this every Friday for 8 weeks. We are on week 5. Next week will be week 6 as we talk about a new topic when it comes to dating. Also, to remind you all, the book that we are going through is Dating and Waiting by Miles Monroe. This is the book that we're using for this series, this 8-week series, just to talk about the different things that God has intended for us when it comes to dating. Make sure you subscribe, you follow, ask us any questions here on YouTube, on TikTok, and we'll most definitely like to answer or respond to them as well. We want to ask you all to be blessed, be safe. Next time you have a conversation, say it, say what you heard, and I guarantee things will be better. Much love, be safe, and let's reset.
Bye.
Love like we just met, going back to the stars we met. Started all the wrong, our hearts are set. God's way.